live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Binapurarachchi. Joining with me today is Sharifa Tahir. Central Bank Governor says financial and political stability gradually improves in the country. Prime Minister requests public sector employees, except for essential services, refrain from reporting for duty. Price of 450-gram loaf of bread will increase by 30 rupees from midnight today. Global stock markets continue to decline.
We continue with those and other stories in detail now, taking a look at local news first. Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, says that signs of gradual improvement in political and economic stability can be seen in the country at present. Accordingly, he said that the statement he made last week over a possible step down from the post will be changed based on the present progressive situation in the country.
We have raised since August. Central Bank has raised by 9%, 900 basis points. And also in response to these policy rate increases, we are seeing market interest rates have also risen sharply and significantly. For example, now the numbers that were shown here showed us, compared to our 9% increase in our policy rates, the government treasury bills yields have increased by about 18 to 19%. It's almost double the increase compared to the policy rate increase. That is why we think there's a overshooting situation, especially in government yields, treasury bills, 90-day, 180-day and 1-year treasury bills. And as a result, overall yield curve has also shifted significantly more than that we expected with the tightening of monetary policy that we did last month and previously. So this is where what we think we need to stabilize the first interest rates, and we will be making certain interventions in two ways. One, I think, as you have already seen, we have given some guidance on exchange rate and it has worked well and exchange rate is stabilizing. Similarly, we would intend to have a similar kind of arrangement, give some guidance to address this overshooting situation. And also in the rupee interest rate, we have an instrument. We can intervene in terms of providing central bank financing at primary auctions as well as through our open market operations. So this is what we would like, basically request players in the market, that we have allowed market to play the role. But if we think that interest rates have overshot, and that requires that need central bank intervention to stabilize the market. So in the rupee market, we have instruments, not only the guidance, but also ability to intervene through injecting funds into the market by central bank intervention. This is unlikely. In forex situation, it's only our guidance that has worked. Here we have both two instruments. But I want to make it very clear, we will continue to intervene as we did in the yesterday T-bill auction. We have rejected all that leading to increased yield rates more than the previous week period average. We'll continue to do this process until this move into the going into the downward direction and maintain that trend. So that we will. That's one thing I want to emphasize here. That is in line with our monetary policy decision as well. Today, with the monetary policy decision, we have imposed the LC, letter of credit margin requirement. We have brought back this for large number of non-essential items. Hereafter, they have to put money in advance if they want to open LCs. That is margin requirement back in force from today onwards. I think already circular has been issued. Second one I already mentioned, the fully implementation of banning open accounts, DADP terms, that requires money to be sent through a banking system, will be fully effective from 20th of this month. Probably in a couple of days. So those two will certainly help more foreign exchange into the banking system, that will improve the liquidity and also continue the trend in the foreign exchange rates for the appreciation. And in addition, there are certain other measures we have discussed at the month report, and let me share that those measures as well. For example, you have seen in the media recently, police raided illegal possession of foreign currency. There are two instances, one $40,000, other one is euro 50,000 last week. Law enforcement agencies raided and taken legal actions against people who are possessing foreign exchange illegally. So we will continue that process, and under the Foreign Exchange Act, we have authority to continue that process. And what we intend to announce, under the Foreign Exchange Act, there's a limit anyone can hold foreign currency notes in possession up to the value of maximum $15,000 if they have got that money legally.
You said that you are not happy with this political stability in the country. I want to know what your position is with regard to that.
So my view, if you look at that situation I mentioned there was no prime minister, there was no cabinet at that point, there was a lot of violence happening in the country. There was both political and social instability. But if you compare the situation with what is in today, we have a prime minister appointed, and then the parliament is now working, and there's a number of ministers have been appointed. We're only waiting for the finance minister. So there's a significant improvement in terms of both the violence, social unrest, and the political stability. I think that everyone can see that. So that's why I think the statement I made, if that situation continues, I will not continue. So now, because situation is improving, I think, in my view, I will certainly, so I don't think there is a situation, as I mentioned earlier, for me to, because there's an expectation that we have seen measures that we have been introducing is working well. And my statement was based on, if whatever we do, if that is not working, no point of me or whoever, government central bank, wouldn't be able to address the current economic condition. Now we are seeing some improvement, which means so things we are doing are working. So I think on that basis, I just certainly intend to continue.
And meanwhile, the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe requests the state sector employees, except for essential services, to refrain from reporting to work tomorrow due to the prevailing fuel crisis. Addressing the Parliament today, the Prime Minister urged the public not to engage in non-essential travels tomorrow. MP Ashok Abesinghe said that the GC audit level examination begins on next Monday. Therefore, he said that a mechanism should be introduced for the children to travel the examination centres with the diesel crisis.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the issue pertaining to petrol and diesel will not be worsened by the end of this weekend. He said that the country will have adequate quantities of fuel until mid-June. He said that public sector employees, apart from essential services, have been informed not to report for duties tomorrow in an attempt to save the available reserves of fuel. However, he said that the fuel crisis will be resolved. He also requested the public not to engage in unnecessary travels during this period.
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that a severe disruptive situation occurred in the country on the 9th. He requested to take necessary steps to ensure the safety of the parliamentarians considering the risk. He also requests the opposition to refrain from socializing wrong impressions at this juncture.
කරේ මන්ත්‍රීවරුගේ ආරක්ෂාව සඳහා මේ කටයුත්ත කරන්න කියලා. එහෙම තියෙද්දි මේ බාල පබ්ලිසිටි වලට මේ වගේ මත ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමේ වලකින්නේ මේක මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට වැරදි පූර්වාදර්ශයක් වෙන මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට පාරක බහින්න බැරි වෙනවා මේ වෛද්‍ය වැපිරවුත් කියන එක කියනවා. තාම මම හිතන්නේ මේ දිසේ 25ට තේරෙනවා කියලා. MP
Harin Fernando said that the present climate against the parliamentarians has been created due to the constant bickering among the MPs. Therefore, he requested the parliamentary members to rally together to resolve the issue pertaining to the nation.
ගහලා මරලා ඉන්න മന്ത്രി කෙනෙක් මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්නකොට ඇයි අපිට එකතු වෙන්න බැරි? මාස තුනකට එකතු වෙලා මේ රටේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න විසඳගන්න. මොකද්ද මේ කරන ලැජ්ජ නැති වැඩේ? ඒ නිසා මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා. දැන්වත් වැඳලා මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ 225 පක්ෂ සියලු දේ එකතු වෙමු.
This is a standby arrangement if you have no fuel when you come in. These arrangements were there earlier. In 83 we had it, you know, in 88, 89. It's a standby arrangement. There are no need for anyone to this thing, but while doing a duty. In the non-parliamentary week, MPs cannot go and ask for fuel.
few members wanted them to go back soon. So therefore they wanted some fuel. So otherwise they asked me to keep book a hotel for them to stay here. So this is the position.
Minister Kanchana Wijayasekara said that Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has not provided fuel at concessionary rates compared to the market prices. He said that a wrong impression over this issue has been socialized at present. Therefore, he said that according to a request made by the Speaker and the IGP, the CPC has permitted to provide fuel at market rates. He added that under this directive, the police department decided to provide fuel for essential services and others on cash payments. However, he said that the police department garage has made a severe mistake by not updating the dispenser into 3 to 4 years. Therefore, he said that instructions were directed to suspend the issuance of fuel for cash payments this morning. He said that the instructions have also been given to conduct an investigation in this regard. The minister pointed out that inability to issue petrol today despite the long queues near filling stations. He said that the relevant payments to the petrol tankers was made through the central bank yesterday under the mediation of the President and the Prime Minister. Accordingly, he said that the tankers arrived at the port this morning. He said that 2 days will be taken to the fuel distribution and requested the public not to give up until then.
කිසිම කෙනෙක්ට වෙළඳ පොලේ පවතින මිලට වැඩිය සතයක්වත් අඩුවෙන් කනිජ තෙල් සංස්ථාවෙන් ඉන්ධන ලබා දෙන්න නැහැ කියන එක පැහැදිලිව කියන්න ඕනේ. අද දවසේත් අපි දකිනවා විශාල වශයෙන් පෙට්‍රල් සඳහා විශාල පෝලිං තියෙනවා. මේ පෝලිං වල හිටියට අද දවසේ අපිට නිකුත් කරන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ පෙට්‍රල්. දැන් ඊයේ රාත්‍රී 10 මාට තමයි ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමාත් ජනාධිපතිතුමාත් කතා කරලා මහ බැංකුවෙන් එළිය තියෙන නෞකාවට මුදල් ටික ගෙව්වේ. අද උදේ 8 මාට තමයි මේ නෞකාව අපේ වරායට ආවේ. ඒ නිසා අද රාත්‍රී කාලේ වෙනවා මේ නෞකාවෙන් ඉන්ධන ටික ගොඩ බාන්න. ඒ ගොඩ බාලා ඉවරලා දවස් දෙකක් යනවා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ හැම ඉන්ධන පිරවුමකට පෙට්‍රල් ටික ලබා දෙන්න. රැස් වෙලා ඉන්න එපා. මොකද කිසිසේත්ම අද දවසේ පෙට්‍රල් ලබා දීමට ක්‍රමයක් අපිට නැහැ මේ පිරවුම්වල වලින්. ඔයිලින් කෙටි කරන්න බලන්නේ.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that a fuel reserve should be re-established. He said that an LP gas tanker has arrived at the port and relevant officials have been instructed to proceed with the distribution. However, he said that a delay has been observed in this regard. Accordingly, he said that the COP committee chairman has been informed to request for a report over the said delay from the Litrogas company. He said that various issues have risen over the fulfilling of daily food requirements. He added that relevant discussions are expected to be held with the officials in this regard. He requested all MPs to work together to resolve the prevailing food crisis. He proposed to appoint committees on district level in this regard and cultivate barren lands in the country. He also said that a separate dialogue should be conducted to limit the privileges of the ministers.
මුදල් මදි මම ඒ ගැන අපි එන සතියේ කතා කරන්න ඉන්නේ අපි ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙලා ආහාර හිඟය විසඳන්න ක්‍රියා කරමු දිස්ත්‍රික්ක මට්ටමින් අපි වෙනම කොමිටි ඇති කරමු ඒ ප්‍රදේශවල කරන්න හිස් ඉඩම් සියල්ලම රජයේ අපි වගාවට යොදවමු ඒ වගා කරන එක කෘෂිකර්ම අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් පාලනය කරන්න උවමනයි මෙතන කියන්න කැමති අපි තව තීරණයක් අරගත්තා විශේෂයෙන්ම ඇමතිවරු පිළිබඳ අලුතෙන් ඇමතිවරු පත් කරනවාද කියලා පත් කරනකොට ඒ අය ඇමතිවරුන්ගේ වැටුප් ලබා ගන්න නැහැ කියලා මම කියන්න කැමතියි. ඒ වගේම ඇමතිවරුන්ට තියෙන වරප්‍රසාද අඩු කරන්නත් අපි සාකච්ඡා කරලා දැනුම් දෙනවා කියලා මම විශේෂයෙන්ම කියන්න කැමතියි.
Jagat Samar Wickrama sworn in before the Speaker today for the vacant parliamentary seat following the demise of MP Amarkirti Athukorola. He was elected representing the Polonnaruwa district. He was the next in line with the highest votes from the Polonnaruwa district after late MP Amarkirti Athukorola.
Ministry of Public Administration informs that as stated by the Prime Minister in the Parliament today, the state sector employees except for essential services are not required to report for duty tomorrow considering the prevailing fuel shortage and transport difficulties in the country. Issuing a statement, Secretary to the Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Council and Local Government, J.J. Ratnasiri has said that calling relevant officials for emergency and essential duties on the mandate of the head of the institution will not be hindered from this directive.
Tomorrow has been declared as a school holiday. Initial phase of the first school term for this year 2022 will also be concluded tomorrow. Issuing a statement, the Ministry of Education has said that tomorrow has been declared as a school holiday for government and government-approved private schools considering the prevailing fuel shortage and transport difficulties. The second phase of the first school term will be commenced on June 6 following the GCE audit level examination 2021 as per the statement. And the All Ceylon Bakery Owners Association decides to increase the price of 450 grams of loaf of bread by 30 rupees effective from midnight today.
The association has further decided to increase the rate of all other bakery products by 10 rupees. Chairman of the All Ceylon Bakery Owners Association, N.K. Jayawardena, said that one of the wheat flour companies had increased the rate by 35 rupees recently, while the other company increased by 40 rupees. He said that the bakery owners are unable to bear this price hike. He said that the price hike is not only based on the wheat flour rates, but also considering the prevailing fuel crisis in the country. He pointed out that the rates of all raw materials have been increased. Therefore, he said that a decision was reached to increase the price of bread from midnight today.
රෑම් 450 බර පාන් ගෙඩියක් පියල් 30කින් වැඩි කිරීමට අපි සමස්ත ලංකා බේකරි හිමියන්ගේ සංගමය තීරණය කරා. අපේ සාමාන්‍ය සංගමයේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි හිතනවා රුපියල් 10කින් පමණ පොඩි කෑම මිලත් හෙට උදේ වෙනකොට වැඩි වෙයි කියලා.
Meanwhile, Litro Gas Company has said that a tanker with approximately 3,500 metric tons of LP gas is expected to arrive in the country. Litro Gas Company announced yesterday that difficulties have risen over the unloading of 2,900 metric tons of LP gas from a tanker which arrived recently in the country due to the inclement weather condition. Accordingly, the company has urged the public not to remain in queues to acquire domestic gas cylinders. Ceylon Petroleum Private Bowser Owners Association said that the transportation of petrol to filling stations will resume after commencing the distribution. In the meantime, Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has urged the public not to remain in queues as the distribution of petrol has been suspended. However, long queues were seen near many filling stations across the country in an effort to obtain petrol. Several filling stations had continued to issue petrol for the consumers. A petrol bowser had arrived at the Guru Goda filling station in Ingiriya and long queues were seen near the filling station to obtain petrol. In the meantime, consumers engaged in a demonstration while obstructing the Horana-Colombo main road due to the unavailability of fuel at the filling stations in Kahatudwe area during the last 6 days. In the meantime, the 13th National War Heroes Commemoration Ceremony was held at the National War Heroes Centre Post in Sri Davarandapura Kotte.
The event was held under the auspices of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa this morning. Armed forces in Sri Lanka defeated terrorism and brought peace to the country on May 18, 2009, ending brutal war prevailed in the 3 decades. A large number of heroes laid down their lives for the motherland and made during the battle with the terrorists. Accordingly, all war heroes who made supreme sacrifices to bring peace to the country and the immense services rendered by them were remembered with respect. The event was organized with the Ranaviru Seva Authority to commemorate the war heroes who sacrificed their lives for the motherland. A 2-minute silence was observed in memory of the fallen war heroes who sacrificed their lives for the country. The war heroes who fought against the terrorists were commemorated. The national anthem was sung and floral tributes were accorded to the war hero cenotaph. Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, retired General Kamal Gunaratne, Secretary to the Ministry of Public Security, retired Major General Jagat Alvis, Chief of Defence Staff and Commander of the Army, General Shavendra Silva, Commander of the Sri Lanka Navy and Sri Lanka Air Force, the Inspector General of Police were present at this occasion. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that the brave war heroes who safeguard the freedom and territorial integrity of the motherland will never be forgotten under any circumstance. Issuing a statement on the War Heroes Day, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa emphasized that the immense sacrifices made by the war heroes for national causes should be remembered. President said that no one expected the crisis situation faced by the people today. The economic crisis has expanded towards a political and social upheaval. Under any circumstances, they will be disregard the policy towards safeguarding sovereignty and independence of this country, the President said in his message. He said that the brave war heroes put an end to the war and brought peace to the country through a humanitarian operation. There was no hatred, anger or revenge in it, he added. Therefore, the President pointed out that there is no room for racism or any other form of extremism in the motherland where peace was established. He said that it is regarded as a unique value in Sri Lankan society. The president further said that the country has gone through many challenging eras and occasions in the country and history, and it should not be forgotten that the patriots always took the lead. Therefore, it is important to recall the history too has given the people responsibility of working cautiously after prudently considering the current challenge. In his message, the president has also said that there is no doubt that various local foreign groups and individuals are trying to use the economic and political crisis as a pretext to influence national security. He said that all must defeat it together. Only then it will be courageous war heroes' commitment to the country to be preserved, he added. He extended that his respect and honor to the brave war heroes who sacrificed their lives or became disabled to safeguard the freedom and independence of the nation. Former Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa also paid floral tributes to the war hero cenotaph.
Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduwa says 3 suspects were taken into custody yesterday over the alleged murder of former parliamentarian Amarakirti Atakorala. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduwa said that the death of a 47-year-old resident in Kuliyapiti area has been reported due to the violent incidents which occurred in Galface and Kalpiti areas on May 9. He said that the post-mortem report has indicated that the death had occurred following injuries to the head and chest areas of the deceased. He added that the Kalpiti police station has already submitted relevant evidence over the incident to the Colombo Fort Magistrate Court. He said that further investigations are underway at present. The police media spokesman said that further investigations have been initiated by the Criminal Investigations Department over the series of violent incidents. He added that investigations are conducted under the supervision of the Attorney General. He said that 13 suspects have been arrested and 5 suspects have been remanded.
සැකකරුවන් 13 දෙනෙක් ඒ සම්බන්ධව අත්අඩංගුවට ගෙන තියෙනවා. ඔවුන්ගෙන් 5 දෙනෙක් මේ වන විට රක්ෂිත බන්ධනාගාරගත කරනු ලැබුවා අධිකරණය.
Colombo Fort Magistrate Thilina Gamage ordered today to remand 8 suspects including Morato Mayor Samantlal Fernando and Dan Priyazad until the May 25th over the alleged assault on the protest took place in Kalpiti and Galface Green. The suspects were produced to the courts by Criminal Investigation Department.
Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduwa said that the CID recorded statements from 3 MPs yesterday. He further said that the statements are to be recorded from several MPs as well. He added that other investigations are underway over the alleged murder of former parliamentarian Amarakirti Atakorala. He said that the relevant investigations are conducted under the senior DIG in charge of the CID. He further said that the 3 suspects were taken into custody yesterday over the incident.
ඔවුන් මෙම මනුෂ්‍ය ඝාතනය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඊයේ දිනේදී සැකකරුවන් 30 දෙනෙක් අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තා.
A group of suspects have been remanded over the alleged assault on 3 individuals, including senior DIG Desabandu Tennakoon. 3 suspects were granted bail by the Colombo Fort Magistrate Court. The suspects were produced before an identification period, and the witness had identified 2 suspects in connection with the incident. Accordingly, Kalpiti Police has requested the court to remand the suspects to avoid any disruptions to the ongoing investigations. The magistrate had pointed out that available evidence had failed to provide that the suspects had damaged vehicles used by the senior DIG. Also, the magistrate had emphasized that the suspects had not been identified for the alleged assault at the identification period. Therefore, the magistrate had ordered to release the suspects on bail.
Inter-University Student Federation organized a protest march today.
And the police launched tear gas and water cannon attacks on the protesters near the World Trade Center in Colombo Fort. The inter-university students commenced the protest march near the University of the Visual and Performing Arts in Colombo. Subsequently, they attempted to enter the area where the president's official residence is situated via Maradana. Steps were taken to disperse the protest march accordingly. An order was issued by the Colombo Fort Magistrate Court prevented the protesters from entering 5 roads in Colombo Fort area. The relevant order was issued by Colombo Fort Magistrate Thirunagamage following a request made by Fort Police. Accordingly, the protesters were prevented from entering Bank Avenue, President Avenue, Baron Chandrika Avenue, Malcolm Road and Chatham Street. And meanwhile, the Samaki Janabalawage says that the issues of the public are yet to be resolved by changing the leaders of the country.
MP Tushara Indunil Amarasena, speaking at a media briefing held in Colombo today, said that immediate steps should be taken to resolve the issues pertaining to the people. MP Tushara Indunil Amarasena said that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is responsible for the escalating issues pertaining to LP gas, fuel and dollar crisis in the country. He also said that Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is now responsible for the appointments of the subordinates of the ruling party. He added that the issues of the country have not been resolved after changing the Prime Minister too. The independent faction of 11 parties requests the President to appoint a presidential commission to inquire into the series of violent incidents occurred on the 9th of May.
Parliamentarian Venerable Athulari Ratanathera made these remarks at a media briefing held today. Parliamentarian Venerable Athulari Ratanathera said that a commission would be able to unravel the series of events which led to the violent assaults on the protest as well as the mastermind behind this incident with the accumulated evidence. Also, he said that the recommendations of the commissions will also reveal the entitled behind the acts of arson as well.
Today is the 41st day of the people's protest underway in front of the Presidential Secretariat at Golfes Green. Many crowds who had gathered from various parts of the country were remaining at the protest site last night. A commemorative ceremony was held yesterday at the protest site. Floral tributes were accorded to a special memorial constructed at the Golfes Green and engaged in all religious observances.
And meanwhile, Parliamentarian Shamal Rajapaksa requested to commence a complete and wide investigation over the violent and disruptive incidents occurred in Golfes Green and other parts of the country. He made these remarks while speaking during a debate in the Parliament today. The focus of the debate was on the violent and disruptive incidents occurred on the 9th and the aftermath. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister requested the opposition leader to take steps at donating several medical drugs during the varieties under the HUSMA program. Opposition leader Sajith Premadas said that a situation has been created where intensive care units are threatened to be closed down. He added that with the donations from part members, he has said that they are expecting to extend maximum financial assistance to provide a life-saving vaccine which prevents heart damages.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe extended his gratitude to the opposition leader SJB and HUSMA program for fulfilling the request. He said that this is an exemplary move which he hopes to continue in a more organised manner.
Minister Professor Channajaya Subana extended his gratitude for the efforts taken by the opposition leader in providing the medicinal drugs. He said that certain vaccines have been replaced at present and therefore requested to double check when acquiring these vaccines.
සීමිත ප්‍රමාණයට ඇනවුමක් යොදලා තියෙනවා මම දන්න හැටියට ඒක ළඟදී ලැබෙන්න පුළුවන් අපි ඒක නිසා SPC ආයතනෙත් එක්ක කතා කරලා ඒක ඩබල් චෙක් කරගන්නවා නම් හොඳයි කියලා මම යෝජනා කරනවා. ඔබතුමාට කියන්න ඕනේ.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadas said that the necessary medicines are being facilitated based on the instructions provided by physicians.
MP Lakshman Kiriyala said that the prompt legal actions should be taken against the perpetrators who have alleged to have set fire to houses or properties of public representatives.
පස්සේ තමයි නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමට මුල් දැන් දුන්න කනගාටුවෙන් හරි කියන්න ඕන. ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයේ බලයට හදන ආණ්ඩු මේ අටවගෙන හදන ආණ්ඩු ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීමක් නැහැ කතා කරගෙන අපේ පැත්තෙන් කිසිම කෙනෙක් එන්නේ නැහැ කියන එකත් මම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මතක් කරනවා. කිසිම කෙනෙක් එන්නේ නැහැ. ඔට්ටු වලන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඒක මගේ මතය.
MP Gayantha Karnatilaka said that SJB had previously pointed out the failures of the government led by the president. Therefore, he said that as a party, they wish to see the aspirations of the young protesters come true.
MP Chamal Rajapaksa said that the front line and JVP are behind the youth protest today. He said that these entities are expecting to come to power through revolts, and he expressed regret over the incidents occurred on May 9th. He said that the assault on the protesters were conducted based on flawed instructions directed by an entity. He said that those who came for former Prime Minister's event were innocent party members.
මුළු ලංකා පුරාම එදා හැන්දෑවේ හයාමාරත් අටත් අතර හැම තැනම ගම්වල පොදු ජන පෙරමුණේ සභාපතිවරුන්ගේ ගෙවල් වලට ගිනි තියුවා මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ගේ ගෙවල් වලට ගිනි තියුවා පාක්ෂිකයන්ගේ ගෙවල් වලට ගිනි තියුවා ගැහුවා සමහර අය මැරුවා.
A group of MPs has requested the Speaker to suspend the providing of lunch for parliamentarians. The relevant letter was handed over yesterday. They informed the Speaker that the people in the country are unable to sustain their lifestyles and unable to fulfill their food requirements due to various difficulties. The letter has indicated that a massive expenditure is borne by the Parliament to provide lunch for parliamentarians and over 900 staff. Accordingly, they have requested to provide a food parcel at market rates during parliamentary session days and implement this move until the end of this difficult period. Parliamentarian Sagar Karyavasam dismissed that rumours MPs receive fuel for their official vehicles at concessionary rates are baseless. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas. Do stay tuned in.
හොඳම දේ විශ්වාසයෙන් ට්‍රීට් කරන්න. Life is a treat.
Manicure hot and spicy, trending fashion on navy. Rasa baby, papare beat ke Saturday ko tumhe pandabi. Let baby, mom, Saturday kapuna, rasa diva pairuna. Saturday adanari ko tumhi pandama, fun update bena, hot cup pe kapmana. Saturday adanari ko tumhi pandama. To
reach the top of the world, I'll have wings to fly.
Higher interest with more gifts and benefits. Sisu Dana from People's Bank. Give your child the strength to succeed.
Welcome back with international news. And Russian invasions of Ukraine could soon cause a global food crisis that may last for years, and the UN has warned.
Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the war has worsened food insecurity in poorer nations due to rising prices. Speaking in New York, Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that some countries could face long-term famines if Ukraine's exports are not restored to pre-war levels. The conflict has cut off supplies from Ukraine's ports, which once exported vast amounts of cooking oil as well as cereals such as maize and wheat. This has reduced the global supply and caused the price of alternatives to soar. Global food prices are almost 30% higher than the same time last year, according to the UN.
Welcome back, and in your sports update, it's cricket, and the first test match between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh ended in a draw today, and the match was played in Chittagong.
Batting first in the match, Sri Lanka was able to put up 397 runs for their first innings. Bangladesh scored 465 runs for their first innings. Sri Lanka scored 260 runs for the loss of 6 wickets for their second innings at the close of play today. The second test between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will begin in Mirpur on the 23rd. Sri Lanka's sprinter Yupunnabe Kon secured the 4th place in the 100-meter event at the Athletic Championship held in Savona, Italy. Yupun, in the preliminary round, managed to secure the 2nd place in 10.04 seconds. This is the fastest time recorded by a Sri Lankan in 100 meters event. He was able to finish the event at a time of 10.16 seconds in the 4th place. Colombo SSC was able to secure an 8-wicket win in the final of the Challenge Trophy competition. The Colombo SSC played against Horana SSC in the finals.
And that's it for tonight's news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita signing off with Sharifa. Stay safe. Good night.